Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I have something a little different for you guys today. All right, so I'm sure today, well maybe you weren't, but on the agenda I had another work from home module sew-along video planned for today, but I'm making a little bit of adjustment. So that video is actually going to be up tomorrow and that will be me showcasing my bottoms for my module. I decided to flip-flop these because Love Notions announced last week that they were going to be they have a sale twice a year, like a big sale, 40% off all their patterns, except I think the glissando pants are not included in the sale because that was just released and they just had a release sale on those. But they do two sales, one in the spring and then one now, so they don't do a Black Friday sale. This is kind of their Black Friday sale because it's Tammy's birthday month. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love doing inspiration posts where I pair Love Notions patterns with the some ready-to-wear options so that, you know, just to give you some ideas and stuff to take advantage of the 40% off sale because it makes the patterns extremely reasonable and they're so versatile anyway that it's just a really, I think a lot of people enjoy it and it's also very helpful. So I thought because the sale only goes from yesterday through 5 o'clock Friday, this coming Friday. So it's just a 5-day sale, not even a full 5 days. 5 o'clock Central Standard Time here in the USA. On Friday is when it's over. I thought I'd go ahead and post this one today to give you the maximum, well not the maximum, but the most amount of time to shop if you'd want to. Then tomorrow I'll be doing, on Wednesday, I'll do my module bottoms, and then on Friday you'll actually see the weekly vlog, which will be just the same days. You'll just, instead of watching it on Wednesday, you'll be watching it on Friday. So mixing things up a little bit this week. I apologize if that's thrown anyone, but yeah, I just wanted to maximize the sale time. So, and I didn't realize that the sale was happening until, oh gosh, I think maybe they announced it last week in their Facebook groups, maybe like Friday or something. Excuse me. Sucked some spit down the wrong pipe. So anyway, I have 10 looks, and these are ready-to-wear looks, and they came from a variety of places. Let's see, I think there was some Anthropologie, some, I don't know, a whole bunch. There was some Bowden. One was just a street style look, but the most of them are from ready to wear. But I have a link to the my Pinterest board where all of these are pinned, so you can go back to the original source of the picture, which would be the store or whatever that I where I got these. So anyway, without further ado, let's start. I've got my iPad. Not my iPad, I have a Surface Pro, but my tablet here in my lap so that I can look and talk about the looks and then show you which patterns that I would pair with them. Some of them do require some hacking, so I can talk a little bit about what I would do, simple hacking, what I would do to hack the pattern a little bit to create this look. So let's get started. 10 looks, this could be a little bit lengthy because you know how I like to chat. Okay, also, all the Love Notions patterns that I will be mentioning will all be linked down below. They are affiliate links, which means I get a little bit of a commission if you use that link. So just want to be upfront about that and let you guys know that that's kind of the way, the situation. And my eyeball has decided to get dry because it does that as well. All right, the first look is this adorable corduroy dress. I think that this is so cute and would be adorable over leggings or thick tights, and you could wear, well, I'm thinking in my own head of how I would wear it is with chocolate brown tights and then my brown lace-up Captain boots that I have from Thursday Boot Company, so that it would be kind of elongating effect because boots, shorter boots can really cut my leg off because it's shorter, but if I'm doing an opaque tight that then goes into the boot, it has a elongating effect and I can get away with that. And it's a total homage to my teen years in the 90s. Now that boot is a very delicate combat boot. You know, my teenage years, it was a chunky combat boot. So I've matured a bit. But I think that this dress is so cute. And Style Maker Fabrics, when I am so sorry, excuse my, I'll try not to mess with my eye too much. It just decided to dry out. It's the lights. Sorry about that. But Stylemaker Fabrics has some lightweight, like shirt weight corduroy right now in a few different colors, and I think that that would be absolutely perfect for this dress. So the pattern that I chose for this was the Rhapsody. You know how I feel about the Rhapsody. I think this would be perfect. Now, the Rhapsody does have gathering. Does this dress too? Or is that just the way she's standing? That might just be the way she's standing. So this is a little different, obviously, but it has it's not a full length sleeve. It's like probably a 3/4 or a bracelet length sleeve that's really full and goes into like a cuff, and that is one of the sleeve views on the Rhapsody. Now this kind of has more of a tunic view here, but I mean, it would give you the same look if you made the Rhapsody per normal and just didn't put the tassels on it. If you just left it, and there's instructions on how to just finish that off, which is how I've done it every single time, at the top without the tassels that dangle off. Now, obviously this is tiered, but the Rhapsody now has a dress view, so I would cut the bodice per the dress view and then take the skirt of the dress, measure what your length is, and instead of cutting out the skirt panel, I would just cut out 3 tiers. And you could make them a little bit differing, like maybe make the top tier a little bit smaller and then get bigger and bigger of just rectangles. But you know, so then it's all the length that you want when you sew them together. And then it's just a matter of gathering rectangles together to make the skirt. Making a tiered skirt is very easy. I use my serger, so I have a ruffle foot that I just crank up the differential feet on my serger, and it will gather the bottom layer. Yes, the bottom layer to the top layer, which makes it really easy. And there's no need to measure the width because obviously your bottom tier is going to be the widest width. So you gather it to the middle tier, and then you gather the middle tier to the top tier, and then the top tier gets gathered to the bodice. They just get progressively bigger, and that would give you, I mean, that's exactly what I did with my raspberry dress, my Cocowawa Crafts, the sheer dress that I made to look like that Everlane dress. I think it was Everlane, or was it Suzanne? Doesn't matter. It was one of my sew the looks this summer, but it's the same hack. So yeah, it's just a matter of picking out, you know, your widths. It'd be a very easy hack to do. And again, Stylemaker Fabrics has it in a few different colorways, or they did when they had their fall release. And I feel like that's probably one that she carries all fall long. So if they are out of some of the colors, there may be a pre-order option available. She's been doing that on some of the more basic fabrics, you know, like the, I think some of the plush sweatshirt fleeces, they were on pre-order because she just sold out really quickly, but they're, you know, a standard solid color, so she is able to get more in. But yes, I think that I heard good things. Some of the people did use that lightweight corduroy, and I think it would be perfect for this. It would gather really well because it's very lightweight and be such a good, good winter dress. Like, so easy to throw on and cozy. I'm tempted to make this one of my sew the looks for the fall because I think that would look really, really cute. Of course, I would have to buy more fabric, and do I need more fabric? Absolutely not, but you know, what are you gonna do? All right, this next look. Now, this one is fun, and I've actually made something very similar to this already. I love this sequin skirt, and I follow a few stylists on YouTube, and one of which is Christy Russell. I've talked about her a lot, but she was talking about some of the trends for fall. That's how I find out about these things, because I'm not in the know. I have to have, you know, people tell me, and then I pick things that I like and go from there. I wouldn't call myself trendy. I also forgot to put earrings in. Look at me. Sorry about that. Anyway, sequins. She was talking about on her video how in like a sequined piece is, or something glittery, and then pairing that with more relaxed pieces to make it very comfortable. And I've actually made myself a sequined skirt, pencil skirt, just like this. Was it last fall? Maybe just last fall. And I love it. And it's time for it to come back out and play. I lined it with a, well, it's really more of a, like a dancewear knit. So it's a, well, kind of a, I don't know if it would be swimwear appropriate necessarily, but it's, you know, like a dancewear knit. It's a shiny gold, so it's very soft against my skin. Feels great, you know, it's not itchy or anything. So then it protects me from the sequins on the other side, and I've used those for the waistband. I'll link that video. In fact, I did a style video on that skirt that I made. And it's the same pattern that I'm going to suggest for this. I think I styled it like 3 or 4 ways or 5 ways or something. I'll link that video up here right now. But I would totally use the Sybil skirt from Love Notions. It is a fantastic pattern, number one. You get so many variations with this skirt pattern. They're knit skirts. They come with a few different waistband options, and you can do kind of a like a tummy panel kind of control one is one of the like a contoured waistband, I guess. That's kind of, or what is it called? It kind of sucks you in a little bit more. Obviously, I lined my skirt when I made this one just to keep it extra sucky-any, but also because of the sequins in it. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's a fantastic skirt. I just brought it back out for fall, and I think I'm just gonna wear it, even though we're in this work from home. And do I really need a sequin skirt? No, but why not wear one just to make myself feel fancy? But it would definitely work for this skirt, and you can find all sorts of fun sequin knits. You wanna find a sequined knit, so something that is stretchy, which would definitely be anything that would be appropriate for dance wear. I bet you can find stuff at Joann's, to be honest, that's stretchy, because you know, ice skating outfits, all that kind of stuff would need to be stretchy sequin fabric, and that would work perfect for this knit pencil skirt. But again, the Sybil Illusion skirt, I think, but it comes with a ton of options, and you can mix and match these skirt options with the Tessa sheath dress, which I'll show you in a little bit, to make a whole bunch of, they can mix and match, so you can make a whole bunch of different dresses. And I've actually done that for my daughter. When I made the dress for my daughter that she designed, that's what we used. It was a Tessa top with one of the skirts from that pattern. It's just very versatile. I really highly recommend a good knit skirt pattern, and that it's got a whole bunch of options. Now for the top, she obviously has a very boxy, and I think it's not, I wouldn't call it necessarily, it's not really it's kind of cowl-ish from what I can tell of how she's wearing it here. But, and it's obviously a sweater, so I would just make something, and maybe not quite as boxy, because sometimes things that are boxier can definitely make you look a little more tent-like, unless you're using a super drapey fabric, which is what I did actually with the Monroe turtleneck recently for my work from home module. But, okay, I want to get this right. The Terra tunic from Love Notions has a whole bunch of different neckline variations, and they have kind of a cowl variation that's on here, and I think that this would be so good. And while it's loose fitting, it's not overly boxy. So I think it would give you, you would want to crop it obviously and cut it off a little bit shorter to get the look that the inspiration post has. But I think that it would be just a little bit more fitted, so it wouldn't be quite so swimming in fabric. But yeah, you could do that cowl neck version and really get a very similar look to this, and make it in a beautiful sweater knit. Again, Style Maker Fabrics has a whole bunch of beautiful sweater knits. And they're all just coming out in all the fabric stores right now. So finding a really nice, cozy, like rayon sweater knit is really easy right now. And I would definitely think that that would be nice and cozy with this. And I think it would be really cute with a pair of tennis shoes as well. I've got my new white Cole Haan tennis shoes, and I think that it would be just perfect. That skirt that I've already made, actually, which would go actually wonderful with my new Monroe turtleneck, really. But with, yeah, I like a little white, dainty tennis shoe. I think it would just be so cute. So I was glad to see that is still like a thing, because I do have my sequin skirt, which is a little bit more of a statement piece, but you know. Okay, next, I think this was Anthropology too, not that it matters, but next we have this gal. Mostly it was the shirt here that just, I was like, oh my gosh, I love that so much. So again, with the texture, I actually have some velvet that I bought when we were in Chicago last year. That's this gorgeous, kind of a coppery color that I think it's a really good color for me. It may be, I don't know, I'll play with it a little bit and see if I think it's gonna be too thick for something like this, but I think that this shirt is so amazing. And really, the pattern that I picked for it is the, what's it called? Presto tunic is what it's called. I need to keep that up here so I don't get confused. The Presto tunic, and the Presto tunic does have a typical tunic, you know, like outline. I don't think that detracts from it though. It is different than the inspiration post a little bit, but it still gives you this nice V-neck. It's got the nice low placket. You could put, the Presto tunic has its own button placket. So you'd be sewing in buttons, which would actually be a little bit easier than doing all the little rouleau loops for the buttons, but you could totally do that if you wanted to do that. And then with the top, it's just a ruffle. They have just taken fabric, folded it over on itself to make a long strip, and gathered it into the top of that collar band, which would be super easy. And you could attach that, and you can make it as tall as you want, but just attach that into the top seam of that collar band. I own the Presto. I've not made it yet, but I would assume that it would be like a two-piece collar band that gets sewn and then turned. So how beautiful would that be, just to have that ruffle that comes up out of the top of that seam, just for something different. And I just think it's so beautiful. Now, let's see, the sleeve lengths with the Presto, it does not come with a sleeve. This has a cuff on it, which you could put a cuff on it if you wanted to, or I would just use one of the longer or the 3/4 length sleeves on that Presto. I mean, you could gather it in with like a band, so you don't have a cuff, but you have like a, gathered into a band. You could even put elastic in there if you wanted to, if you wanted a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more room to move around. So that would be definitely an easy thing to change. And I would probably shorten the tunic just a little bit to make it more shirt, so that, you could do a half tuck, or you could wear it out over leggings if you wanted to. Now she's got this tucked into a beautiful pair of like brocade or even just floral pants, which I think are also gorgeous. And for those, I picked the duet trousers. Now, what I love the most about Love Notion's pant patterns is that they have a fitting guide that comes with these pants. Tammy has done so much work on, I just tested a pair of pants for her, the glissandos, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but she puts so much work into making sure that she's eliminated as many fitting issues as possible for all the sizes, and their size range is extensive. They also have full bust options on all their tops, in knit and woven, so that is something too, if you have a chest, something that is really very, very handy. But she just has a beautiful, or just put in so much time of fitting options, and has fitting workbooks, the Sabrina Slims the same way, of how to identify fitting issues, how to fix those fitting issues. I mean, she's just really gone the long haul. Also, Love Notions has a Love Notion support, is that what it's called? Which anyone can join on Facebook, and you can get all sorts of help on there from the administrators of that, and a lot of help with their patterns. It's I'm a member, it's a really great resource to have if you're gonna be sewing a lot of, well, it's free, so why not do it? But if you're gonna be sewing a lot of their patterns, it's a great resource to have. But I put the duet trousers because they can be made in a woven or a stretch. So actually a stretch woven would be perfect. Like you could do a heavier duty ponte if you wanted to, or it also allows for woven fabrics as well on those duet trousers. But a stretch woven would be just about perfect. So if you could find, you can find stretch cottons pretty easily, like a sateen or even just a bottom weight stretch cotton. That are meant for pants, but finding one in a floral. I bought some that I made shorts out of from Minerva back in the summer, so something in a little bit darker colors, but in that type of, that substrate would be absolutely perfect for those pants, and I just think that they're a lot of fun, and why not? And they're kind of a tapered leg too, which I'm also all about. I think those are flattering. All right, next, oh my gosh, okay, I love this, number one. I recently bought, and if you follow on the weekly vlogs, I showed you guys what I found, a pleather from Joann's that is stretchy, and it is probably the nicest pleather I think I've ever, I'm looking at it, it's right over here. It has almost like a micro suede backing. It's stretchy, so it'd be very comfortable, and you wouldn't have to line it because it's like a micro suede backing. Like it's not sticky or uncomfortable on the backside like a lot of pleathers, faux leathers, vinyls, whatever are. And it feels almost like a lamb's leather, like lambskin leather. But it's not. It's plastic. Anyway, I bought it at Joann's, and they had a couple of different colors. They had other faux leather that felt more like the vinyl and stuff you're used to, but this stuff was absolutely beautiful. I bought it in kind of a brick red color, and I can't remember what other colors we saw it in. I'm tempted to go back though at my Joann's. I was not at my Joann's when I bought it. I was at one. I was meeting a friend halfway somewhere. So I'm tempted to look at my Joann's as well to see what colors they have. But I love these wide leg leather pants, and they are very in for the fall. I think these would be so great for the glissandos. Now these are not part of the sale, but they're such a good pattern. Now it has a button fly, but Karina on Lifting Pins and Needles has done a tutorial on how to change it from a button fly to a zipper fly if you prefer. So that would be an option. Or instead of buttons, you could do snaps up the front, which would give that look still of the fly, the flip exposed button fly, but with like an industrial heavy duty snap. I think that would, number one, be very easy to install, and number two, would just give it kind of a fun look. So, and the pants are technically for non-stretch wovens, but she also has some excellent fitting advice in there. So you may just need to size down if you're using something stretchy, or just based, especially if you're using a pleather. You want to be very careful because you only get one try at those. So maybe do a little bit of a muslin or something. Or if you're just going to be taking things in, it's not a big deal, because then what you've already sewn through would be inside the seam allowance. Like you wouldn't have to worry about the holes you've created. So anyway, I would highly recommend those pant pattern number one. I'm so over the moon with mine, but I think that you could definitely get this wide leg look with those pants easy. Now for the top, it is a sweater, so I think in a sweater knit this would be beautiful. It has shearing, which they don't have any patterns that use shearing. However, their Laundry Day tee pattern, which if you join the, I have a link here, it's a $5 pattern, I guess in the sale right now. But if you join their support Facebook page, you can get a code for that for free. So you can get that Laundry Day tee for free. And it has an option for a turtleneck. So, or a cowl, really. Anyway, it's pretty loose fitting, and it's got different sleeve options. And I think what you could do is do that turtleneck version and just put some shearing in there to make it tighter. So instead of a cowl, it would take things up and keep it up by your face. Now you'd want to keep the length of it at a reasonable, you know, you don't want to like up over your face. And you would want to measure like how many lines of shearing you'd want to do just to determine like that. But I think you could very easily recreate that with that pattern. It is a trapeze style top, so it would be a little bit looser, which isn't a bad thing. You know, keep it at t-shirt length, and then you could play around with the sleeves. And basically most sleeve, you know, if you're doing a fitted sleeve, even if it's a knit sleeve, they go in on the underarm side, or the underarm seams of a sleeve pattern. Anyway, if you straighten those out from the armscye down, so you'd have a really full bottom, and then just shear it into, you just shear it, and then it makes it half the width, and then it will stretch very comfortably to fit your arm. It would be, I mean, it would be this top, and I think that you could probably have a lot of fun. I'm obsessed with shearing, and especially right now, I think it's great for the fall. I think it would be fun on a sweater knit, it'd be something a little bit different, and the shearing is not a tight, it's not tight, so it's very easy. I think getting your head into that top with that shearing would be easy. It's a very loose, it's very comfortable, you know. It's much better, the dress that I just made where I had shearing panel in the front, it's much more comfortable than having elastic in the waist, for instance. You know, someone that struggles with a fluctuating waistline, when my waist is, am I inflamed or not, it's much more comfortable than just regular elastic. So I think that could be, that's definitely a more intense hack than anything else that I'm showing you right now, but I think it could totally be done. And I actually have a shearing video on the channel. It's a tutorial. I'll leave a link to it right here. All right, next up is more faux leather. So I am obsessed with this. These are faux leather leggings. So I would just use a woven legging or a jogger pattern, and the Allegros by Love Notions have a jogger option, and they are for wovens. You could use the same pleather from Joann's to get the same look. It's pretty thin, so you could not have to worry about too much bulk with the elastic around the waist. I think they'd be very comfortable because they do have stretch. You know, it's not technically a woven because it's, you know, it's just like it doesn't have a grain. But you know, you would wear it like a stretch woven, and I think that it would be so incredibly cute. So now I'm like torn what I want to do with what I already own here. Do I want a pair of glissandos or do I want a pair of Allegros? You know, I just made a pair of woven joggers, but maybe I need another pair. I love the ones that I've got. And you wouldn't necessarily, let's see, this pants, do they come in? Let me look here. Yeah, they have gathering at the ankle. You could also leave, you wouldn't necessarily have to do the gathering at the, you know, the cuffing gathering at the ankle if you didn't want to, if you're afraid of that getting a little too thick. You could just leave them straight if you wanted. But I think that that would be really cool just to make a pair of joggers. And then for the top, I picked the Sloan sweater. There are also a bunch of really cool animal print. Is this animal print or camo? I'd call this animal print, but it's obviously a sweater knit. I think this almost looks fuzzy, kind of like it's maybe has like a mohair kind of feel to it. But there's so many beautiful sweater knits that are out right now. Again, StyleMaker, you know, she just released all of her fall fabrics, so I'm just very familiar with that. But a lot of the fabric stores right now are releasing some beautiful sweater knits, and you can get some really cool prints that are in there. Obviously, we're coming back into the fall, so you're seeing a lot more animal prints again, which I wear as a neutral, hands down. The Sloan sweater I have made a couple of times. It's just a great sweatshirt pattern, you know? If you're looking for something for a little thicker fabric. It does come with cuffs. Cuffing, actually StyleMaker, not to mention again, has pre-made cuffing. So you can buy in a ton of colors. It's waistband cuffing and then actual cuffs that you can put on, the package comes with two that would go on like a jacket or a sweatshirt or something in a whole bunch of different colors. And you can do the waistband ribbing for either the waistband of something, or if you were doing a neckband, you know, you could buy two of them or whatever and then have the ribbing also for a neckband or like the collar band on a jacket or whatever. Or if you're doing like, you know, pockets or something like that, you could use it as fabric basically, but it's like a heavy duty ribbing, like what you would see in ready to wear. And it, again, I mean like 20 different colors, so many different colors. I just ordered some actually for a secret project. But really good stuff. I highly recommend it. It's not in their fabric section, it's in their trim section, but they have matching cuffs and the waistband elastic. It's pre-packaged, like you don't buy it by the yard. You just buy like waistband elastic or ribbing or cuff ribbing. Anyway, you could definitely use that with the Sloan, it'd be perfect. All right, next is this outfit. I love this outfit. It's just so classic and comfortable. This kind of goes back to my work from home. Well, a lot of these do, but a little bit more casual and comfortable while still being polished and put together. So for this one, I picked the Sabrina Slims for the bottoms. I really want to nail the fit on those. I was a tester for when they re-released them in their extended sizing, and then she made some changes to it. And while I did do a few muslins, I wasn't crazy about the fit that I got on those. I think I just need to put in, I need to put in some more time to find, to do the correct fit. I think I did a lot of fitting to them, and I think I didn't need to do as much fitting as I thought I did, if that makes sense. I think I overfit them. So I think I need to go back to the drawing board and just start from scratch, grade between a few sizes because they are a skinny pant meant for knits. I have wider calves, and I think I just probably need to grade out of the calves. And that's probably about all I need to do if I'm making a size for my hips. But it has a lot of details on that pattern where they almost look like a skinny cigarette trouser. You can find some, StyleMaker again has some double knit ponte that looks like houndstooth. I think that she's got it in like an olive and black and a teal and black maybe when I was looking. Those would be fantastic for a pair of trousers like this, like a plaid workwear trouser. And you can find pontes that are plaids that would work marvelously for this. I know a lot of people just swear by this pant pattern, and so that makes me really want to just put in some time and get a really good fit, because then you're balancing between like a legging and a trouser, so you're really getting the comfort. They're pull on, you know, I really want to work on that pattern. For the cardigan, I chose the boyfriend cardigan that they've got. It has a hooded option, which actually I saw a lot of hooded cardigans when I was looking on other sites. I saw that quite a bit. Saw a couple in cashmere, which would actually be really lovely if one could get a hold of cashmere knit, but and not pay an arm and a leg for it. But I think any of the really lovely like rayon or whatever sweater knits would be beautiful. It's just a nice slouchy cardigan with nice deep pockets, and the boyfriend cardigan hits those bills. It kind of has a shawl collar on it, the Love Notions version, which kind of ups it just a little bit. And then for the shirt underneath, I actually, instead of, I mean, you could just do a t-shirt, of course, but I actually picked the Labella Donna for this one. I was one of the testers for this as well when they put into their extended size range. It also has the full bust front if you need that, but it's a dolman style top. It literally makes up in no time at all. Wonderful for a thinner knit if you're wanting to do something a little bit drapier. You can make it long sleeves. It does have a long sleeve pattern, or if you leave the sleeve off, just the grown on sleeve is a pretty decent short sleeve, which is the one I made. And it also has quite a few neck variations. It's got like a hood, you can put a little kangaroo pocket on it, all sorts of stuff. So Kira from the Island Socialist was one of the testers for the Labella Donna, and she did a beautiful graphic on the front, which made it look like such a like store-bought, ready-to-wear shirt. It's really beautiful. So I just thought I would throw that out there. It's just a wonderful, something different than like your typical t-shirt. Okay, next up, this one is actually just a style, a street style look that I had found that I really loved. I think it's the colors that really sing to me on this one, but I love the belted coat. I think it is so flattering. And the Octave coat by Love Notions is a belted shawl collar coat, which is exactly what this is. Now, the Octave, I think it's about knee length, right around knee length is where it hits, but you could very easily, and Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles, she went lower, like hers is right below the knee. It's gorgeous. Her red coat is gorgeous that she made for that. But you could definitely lengthen it and make it midi length, which would be this coat very easily. Now, there wasn't like a fitted turtleneck that Love Notions necessarily has, although again, some of the ones that I had mentioned, like the what was it, the Terra Tunic and the Laundry Day Tee do have turtleneck, cowl neck options. This is more of a high turtleneck, so I don't really have an option for the turtleneck. It could just be something that you had in your closet. It's the pop of color is gorgeous. And then she does have a pleated skirt that's on under this, a midi length, or even, yeah, I'd call this midi. Which I would just make a little bit longer than the coat. I love this outfit so much. Now the Octave coat does come with a self-tie, but you could easily use a belt just like this gal did, and beautiful. But I picked for the skirt the Ravina skirt, which is a knit skirt. So you could use all sorts of different like really drapey knits. I don't know that it has a midi length on that pattern. It has a maxi and then it's got some shorter ones, but maybe it does have a midi. I mean, it's very easily to create. You just cut the hem wherever you want it, so you would hit midi length on your leg, you'd be perfect, and it would be extremely comfortable. But I'm also thinking, because there is like a yoga waistband on that skirt, if you don't have a really big waist to hip ratio, so my waist to hip ratio is smaller, I have a bigger waist and my hips aren't as big. So if your waist to hip ratio is not as big, I think you could possibly get away with doing the body of the skirt in a woven just as long as you use the knit as the waistband. It's a yoga waistband, super comfortable. It has maternity options and stuff. I mean, all of their patterns are so versatile, have so many different options, but I think you might be able to get away with like a plissé fabric, which is a fabric that's already been pleated if you can find one. They're very in right now. I think that it wouldn't be too hard to find pre-pleated fabric. Typically it is polyester, but you could definitely kind of get that look. Or you could just use a knit and a fun pop of color. I think it's the colors that really, but I think this is so polished and put together. And Tessa, who is Tammy's sister and works with her, just did a sew along for the Octave coat. And they've done some options where they've done fur on the shawl collar, like faux fur, which just looks so luxe. It's very similar to this coat, really, and it's lined, just really beautiful, and they've got a sew along for it right now, so it'd make it an easy first coat to do if you've never done a lined coat before. All right, next up, I've got 3 looks here from Boden for our last 3. So, okay, what did I pick for some of these? All right, so for this first one, I love this sheath dress. And I think what I really love about it, I think this is in a stretch woven actually, that Boden has it in, but I would make it in a heavy duty knit like a ponte or a double knit or something along those lines. I obviously love the color of this. But they have these cool little pockets that kind of come into this dress. And Love Notions has a pattern called the Trendy Tunic, and it is obviously a tunic. You would have to lengthen it to get the sheath dress, but I think it would be so easy, and it has a very similar, not identical, but very similar line. It's kind of a pocket that comes from a princess line seam, which is exactly what the Trendy Tunic does. So I think that if you made that Trendy Tunic with the longer sleeves, and just lengthened it to be a dress, as long as you could take the line out to keep it A-line, which would probably be what you'd want to do just to make sure, but it's a tunic, so you've already got the ease in there for your hip anyway, because it's meant to cover your hips and butt anyway. So I think you could probably just either carry on going straight or just do a lengthen and shorten line and lengthen it if you want to keep the hem the same width. But I think it'd be such an easy thing. Or if you're super short like I am, you may be able to make the tunic and get away with it as a dress. But with tights and some tall boots, oh, I think it would be such an easy piece to wear, and those pockets are just so much fun. They're not identical to the inspiration dress, but very, very similar, and I think you could definitely get away with it with that. I think it's just, yeah, it's just great. All right, for this next dress, this is also another Boden dress. Come on now. That's made in a sweater knit, which once again, you can find sweater knits in a lot of different places right now because we're getting into that season here in the US and in the Northern Hemisphere. But what I love about this dress, it's just a basic knit sheath dress. However, the beautiful detailing that it has, the little ruffle along the neckline and then also along the sleeve. Now with the sleeve on this, it's actually a cuffed sleeve that has the little ruffle on, which you could definitely do. I've picked the Tessa sheath dress for this one. This is the one that I said goes with the Sybil skirt, that you can mix and match those very easily to make different dresses. However, it does not have a cuff. So you could either create your own cuff, you know, just by cutting the sleeve a little bit shorter and then measuring your wrist and adding, you know, doubling basically a rectangle that would fold over. Well, you wouldn't want it to fold over because if you wanted the detail at the bottom, you'd want a seam there to put the detail. Or you could get a very similar look instead of finishing off with a hem on the sleeve. You could basically sew, like you would with piping, I guess, sew a piece of fabric that like a teeny tiny little rectangle that you folded over and gather that to the bottom of the sleeve. So before you even sew the sleeve into the dress. So you would gather that to the bottom, but have it, you know, up into the sleeve, so away from the hem allowance. And then, so then when you do sew it up like you normally would, and then when you do go to flip the hem up, you would have, you know, flip it up at that ruffle, and then go ahead and hem, and you just have a little ruffle at the hem of the sleeve. And I think that would be so easy to do and such a cute little detail just with a solid dress. And then the same, instead of doing your normal neckband, I think it would be just a matter of, doing a gathered neckband, like a ruffled neckband, like you would gather it. Let me see here. Yeah, like it's inserted like you would a neckband. Oops. Just made that really big. It's inserted like you would do a neckband, not a binding, but like a neckband, but it's just a lot more. So you could just gather that and then put it in, and I think that it would give you the same look. And that Tessa sheath dress pattern is a great one to have. It's just your standard knit sheath dress. You can make it in, even again, like those plaids that I was talking about, plaid pontes, or like a suiting look pontes that you would make, like the Sabrina Slims would look really good. You could use that for the dress too, and it would be pretty amazing. All right, and then for my last look, I have this beautiful shirt dress. It just has the banded collar, no collar, but it's the fabric, 100% on this one. Now for this, I would use the Lyric dress. I have that pattern. I've been meaning to make it forever now. It looks so good on everyone that makes it. It's so flattering, has the bust cup options, and it does have long sleeves. But what I would do is find a border print that is just beautiful, just like this dress. And you could also, you know, you could play around with adding some of the border print like up at the top. You could either cut it out creatively, or you could even cut portions out and kind of applique it onto the top. If you've got an embroidery machine, that would be gorgeous up there at the top at the yoke. But then I think you could get away with using a trim, just sewing a trim onto your band and down the front. And then easily make a tie belt, and then just do the trim along the bottom and kind of incorporate it into the border print that's already there. I think like a cotton actually would be wonderful for that. And then some beautiful trim, which are so fun to shop for and so fun to look for. And I think that would just be just really spectacular. And what a great dress. Obviously you could do it in a solid fabric, but this was one where the fabric really makes the dress, and I think that you could have a lot of fun with the border prints that are out there, and just make something really, really beautiful. Once again, if you do, or you could do hand embroidery if you really wanted to, but if you do have an embroidery machine, you could do some fast work of a lot of, you know, the yokes and that kind of thing, even the bottom of the dress if you wanted to. But I just think that it's fun and different and something really beautiful, and that it definitely follows the lines of the lyric. Now, I think that this one has cuffs on it. The lyric does not have a cuffed option, but it does have a longer sleeve option. You know, it's got like the 3/4 bishop sleeve. So you could kind of play around with that. Be an easy little hack just to kind of make what you want there. But there you have it. There are 10 ready-to-wear inspiration and then the Love Notions patterns that you could use to recreate those for yourself. You know, just to give you some inspiration if you are interested in maybe purchasing, while, I mean, it's a great time to purchase Love Notions, just because they only do these sales twice a year, and now is the time for that. So great pattern company. I love them to death. I use them a lot in my own sewing, both for myself and my daughter. It's just great across a whole bunch of ranges. Their size range is very, very inclusive. And then they're also big booby friendly. So I highly recommend them for that almost alone. It's great. So yeah, if you were interested, I'd highly recommend you going out and checking out their sale that's going on right now. And it's not just the ladies patterns. They have some men patterns. Everything's on sale except for the glissando pants, because those were just released and they just came off their release sale. But they've got little girl patterns and boy patterns. So definitely stuff for the whole family. So definitely go have a look at their everything that they've got, and there's a million different variations with all their patterns. It's a big bang for your buck, especially if you're buying them on this 40% off sale. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow for the work from home module video that is my bottoms, and then Wednesdays, what should be going up on Wednesday for the weekly vlog, will actually go up on Friday. So we're just messing things around a little bit. And then normal sew along, it's gonna be the final sew along piece for the shirt dress we've been working on, will be on Sunday. All right, guys, leave any questions you have below in the comment section, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.